Hello there, everybody. So, in my never-ending quest to maximize ELD utilization, I noticed that I get fuel solutions that are very frequent, and you're like, okay, well, this is a Crete discount. You can get your fuel cheaper. You're getting 50 gallons at a time, and you're complying or meeting the requirements for IFTA for, your route, which is fine. That's true. That's very true. And the discounts are big. I mean, they could be 50 cents per gallon or more. But when you have frequent fuel stops, it's about clock management for me. It's like, okay, you got 14 hours on duty. You got 11 hours drive time. You got an 8-hour break. Okay. You pull into that fuel stop. Are you going to be in and out in 15 minutes? No. You could be there for an hour, depending on how busy the fuel stop is. You pull in some of these fuel stops, every lane's taken. They're double stacked. Especially if it's at night. Guys are doing 30-minute breaks in the fuel stop. You're going to wait probably 15 minutes to pull up to the pump, and you're going to wait another 15 minutes for the guy in front of you to pull away so you can pull out of the pump. That's at least 30 minutes of waiting, plus the time it actually takes you to fuel, which is more like 10 or 12 minutes. So you're there for at least 30 minutes, maybe longer, depending on part of the country you're in, how busy that truck stop is, the time of night, and things like that. So I started thinking more about, do I really need to stop and get fuel? I know my fuel solution says, all right, stop here, get 50 gallons. I'm like, I'm on 3/4 of a tank. I don't even need to stop. I mean, I can go the whole trip without stopping. I can maximize the efficiency of my clock management, and I don't need to fuel. So I really start to question, the fuel solution is that the best use of my time? Let's say, for example, it saves you 50 cents per gallon. All right. And you're going to get, I don't know, let's say 100 gallons. I mean, that's a lot, but let's just say for argument's sake, you're getting 100 gallons. So that's like $50, right? But in order to get that $50 savings, you're at that truck stop for an hour because everybody's there. Everybody's stopping at that truck stop, getting that fuel discount from their fleets, and trucks are backed up. So you're there for an hour, all right? So you could drive, say, 70 miles per hour. And if you lose an hour, you don't get that extra hour drive time in this scenario, this what if scenario. So on one hand, you could drive 70 miles and get paid, your revenue per mile, which for me is like $1.69 per mile. So we're talking like over $100 revenue. Or you could try to save $50 in fuel by following the fuel solution. Now, what would you do? Would you rather make over $100 or would you rather save $50? I would rather make the over $100. Keep going, get there early, manage my clock. This idea of stopping 2 times on a 500-mile trip to comply with the fuel solution is ridiculous. It's like I'm starting to skip it more and more, unless it's in the middle of the day where I know I can get in and I can get out, without wasting a lot of time. Then I'll do it. But if it's at night, it's like I ain't pulling in that truck stop for 50 gallons. It ain't worth it. The other thing I've been taking a look at is yard moves. Making more and more use of yard move when I'm at the customer. Before I would just put in drive time. I really didn't care, but I'm trying to maximize my earning potential, and looking at yard move as a way to do that. Yard move saves drive time. Yeah, it still counts against your 70, but let's say, for example, you have 5 hours of drive time remaining. Okay. You have 7 hours on your 14-hour clock remaining. So, and you have plenty of hours left on your 70 on duty time. But your limiting factor is that drive time. If you can preserve that drive time, you have enough time to go pick up the next load and find a place to park. But if you utilize that drive time driving around the Walmart distribution center for half an hour, you fall short. You're not going to make it. So this is the idea that, take advantage of tools that are available to you for like yard move. That is very strategic. You wouldn't think, it's like, what's the difference if I'm on drive time, if I'm on yard move? They both count against the 70. Well, you got to think about the strategy. Do you need that drive time so that you can get to, where you want to be by the end of the day for parking? Or can you go pick up that next load tonight rather than wait till the next morning? So it's all strategy. So same thing with fuel solution. It's all strategy. You got to get fuel. It's whether or not you want to waste the time pulling in to get that fuel solution or not. And I would suggest you think about the cost, what it's costing you to follow that fuel solution, and whether or not it's really worth it. Whether or not you'd be better off bypassing that fuel solution, get fuel at a later point, maybe the next day when you can get in and out and not waste any time sitting in line at the fuel station, because you hit it at night and everyone's doing 30-minute breaks. If you hit it during the day, you're in and out. You hit it at night, you're screwed. So you might want to just think about skipping it and waiting to get fuel at a later time. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the internet.